gone and Terry's
Yeah.
not gonna make it.
Which, well, 4 out of 7, that's a quorum, I guess.
You guys doing okay?
Is Kristen gonna be here?
Kristen will be here, so I guess we will be able to,
Yeah, we'll be able to have.
yeah,
her.
we'll be able to meet once Kristen gets here, yeah. So. Yeah. So we'll have to wait till she's here. So, yeah, I just saw that, because I was like, I haven't heard from Jim. Let me see. I forgot to tell you that, too.
Nick,
I did too.
What's
I
his-
was
Of course,
gonna
you know,
be here.
what's his last name?
You would think that,
Jones.
Jones.
you would think that the city council could perhaps let me know, as the library director, that there's a new city council person on the board, but, you know,
Yeah, everyone got reassigned.
Yeah.
at The last meeting.
that's never happened. So what was the reasoning behind it?
Oh, they do it with the new council. It's a reassignment with the new council every year. Hey, Kristen.
Oh,
Good.
how
That's
are
a
you?
meeting where they
You getting packed up?
staff all the
Right.
committees and boards.
Right,
Oh,
but they don't wanna,
We need the summer.
is it
Yes.
Kids need the
just
friends.
policy not to have someone more than 1 year on the board?
I mean,
No, they can, but
Yeah.
The mayor makes that
That's
decision.
exciting.
This
He
is why.
just decides who needs to be
Exactly. We
where.
live here for
Yeah.
the summer, not the winter.
Someone's
Not
got
the
more,
winter.
Winter's not
more
typical either,
positions
but-
than others, and
Well.
we'll try to balance it out.
I'm
Yeah.
getting tired of it, but.
Yeah, that's the meeting that happens every year.
There you go. Okay, we are live,
Oh.
actually. Just,
We are good.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be official. All right, I'm gonna open up, I'm gonna call the Sturgis Public Library, Library Board meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully that everyone's been enjoying the, well, I guess not really summer break yet, because you're still in school.
I am,
Yeah,
yeah. Not quite there.
getting close, though.
Getting close, yes.
At least we were seeing some days of sun, that's good. If everyone's had the opportunity to look at the minutes from the let's see, the 30th of April, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, the approval of the minutes has been approved. Financial reports, Chris.
All right. I did submit the preliminary budget for next year to the city administrator, and we talked about a little bit of things. We did change some of the numbers because the courier service is back. So I took out the potential cost or our portion of the cost to keep the courier going in the library consortium. So that number's down a little bit. And we shifted a few other things around. The city is trying to use kind of a consistent budgeting process with every department. So certain things go in certain places. And so we shifted a few things around, didn't change any numbers, but at least for their bookkeeping, they want to try and clean things up a little bit. So some things may get moved around, but other than that, everything's good. And then once we get to figuring out what the budget is for next year, then we'll go ahead and start adjusting numbers as need be.
So you sent that in and then they approve it, the council approves it?
Well, it goes to the mayor,
Okay,
and the mayor sets a budget that the city council then approves or doesn't approve. So that process, I don't know where that process, do you know where the process is at right now?
This is just a very preliminary draft.
Okay.
Just to start the conversation for 2026. That process will begin probably in July timeframe and then be finalized October.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I know they wanted to get an earlier start on it this year, but I don't think it's quite worked out the way they wanted, just because we're still getting things figured out. Otherwise, purchases this month are pretty standard. I did get some more shelves for our DVDs that I need to install because we're running out of space there. And I purchased, Donia needed a new computer for her office, so I've purchased that. And then one of our laptops that we use for programming and also for the any Zoom meetings and stuff is at the end of its life. So I went ahead and got another laptop as well. And I think that's all we'll need to, hopefully that's all we need to purchase as far as computers this year. But the rest of the stuff is books and programming supplies, pretty much. The Memorial Miscellaneous, bought some paper, and well, no, actually, we haven't bought paper. We just have the copier lease and then a deposit. I did get the $50 service charge they put on the Dunn Trust account got taken back off, which we knew was going to happen just because of when that account was shifted. So that money's back. And that's kind of where we're at for this month.
So do you still buy DVDs? Or
Yeah.
do people just donate them? I mean,
No, we buy
people still
'em.
have DVD players?
We have,
It just
well, and
That's awesome if they
Yeah.
do, and it's a good service.
yeah, and the idea was not to start buying Blu-rays because a lot of our patrons don't have Blu-ray players or streaming services. So,
Sure.
so DVDs are a safe bet because you can play those on Blu-rays as well.
Yep.
And so, yeah,
Okay, no,
and
that's,
we get a fair amount donated. But,
Yeah.
but the newer stuff we are still purchasing ourselves.
all right.
Yeah.
Good to hear. I'm not smart enough to do the streaming stuff, so, yeah. All right. All right,
I'll second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the financial report. Any questions, further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, director's report.
All right.
Dr. Hahn.
Let's see. Lots of informational stuff this time around. The Green Thumb Gala brought in $868. I think there might be like another $12 that came in after this was done. So a little lower than usual, but not bad. The Karstensen Memorial is at $1,130. I don't anticipate anything else coming in for that, so that's sitting in savings, and we'll figure out where to spend that. Most likely books. Joyce Lamont has the art exhibit in June, and then Kat Thompson again in July. John Olson, who's this month, everybody seems to like that stuff, the stuff that he has up there. We're
Talented.
a lot of good comments, so that's good. So we'll probably have him do another exhibit here in maybe next year. The summer reading program kickoff party last week had 150 people, I think. So yeah, it was great. Everything's up and running, although Sierra's sick, so yesterday's stuff got postponed. I did story time today, but the coding club got canceled, and so hopefully she went to the doctor today and she'll be back doing things hopefully tomorrow. I actually am writing a column for the Pioneer about the summer reading program. I don't have it finished yet. I was hoping to, but didn't get to it. The facility updates, everything's going pretty well. We had a problem with a toilet in the community room bathroom area, and it was just a stopper that was worn out. Judd came and fixed that. And the Sherman Street door that wasn't working quite right is now. We fixed the tension on that so it wouldn't slam shut. There's a couple of the fluorescent fixtures in the workspace area need to be replaced. They've never actually really worked since I've been here. We just haven't replaced them because it's not an area where we need a lot of light. But one of these days we'll, depending on the budget, we'll go ahead and probably replace those with LEDs because the ballasts are burned out, and also it's the mechanism is a little wonky, so you can't even fit a bulb into one of them. So we'll do a little bit of that, but it's nothing that's really big. Other than that, building's doing pretty well, except the I think are out. They fixed them. It got fixed last year because it went out for a while, but now when we had the really hot days, it was about 82 upstairs and almost 80 downstairs. And so they looked at it, and the breakers were tripped. They reset them and realized when they got up on the roof that some of the compressors are out. So we're working on getting those fixed. Otherwise, we'll be advertising that the library is a library / sauna, and you can just go in and lose about a pound of water weight if you come in and get a book. Hopefully not, but we'll see. The Friends of the Library got 501c3 status, so that's great. We can start looking at grants for that, and we'll probably have a meeting here pretty soon to figure out what we need to be doing with that. The State Library got the rest of the IMLS money that they were promised from the federal government, so they're fully funded for the next fiscal year. So after that, we don't know what'll happen, but at least we've got the couriers for another year anyway. The salary and classification study results are probably in June. I think we'll get them. We got some preliminary paperwork to look at a couple weeks ago, and so hopefully we'll get that pretty soon. That's going to have an effect on the budget as far as I think they're assuming that the salaries that are in this survey are going to be higher than staff is currently getting, is what I'm assuming. And so they're trying to figure out how they're going to adjust that, whether they're going to try to do it all at once or whether they're going to try to do incremental increases. And so that portion of the budget puzzle will then affect what we can spend on other stuff. So we'll see. Be interesting to see what those results look like. Excuse me. Our rally job list, we've still got, we've got all our stuff that we're planning on doing during that week. And then the other thing I've been starting to look at is right now we take cash and checks only. And I'm starting to look at the possibility of taking cards. We're getting more and more people who come in who expect to be able to use a card to pay for copies or faxing or whatever. And so I just started looking into that. And there are a few companies that don't require a monthly fee. They just take a percentage of the sale plus a few cents. Square, which a lot of people use, apparently you can't use if you're a government agency, but PayPal has one that you can use that's 0.2, I think it's 0.26% of the transaction plus, or 2.6% of the transaction plus 9 cents, I think. So what we would end up doing is probably setting like $1 minimum. That way,
It covers any extra.
yeah, because if somebody comes in and we have had somebody try to pay for one copy with a card, and it's like, that's 15 cents. I don't have any money.
Yep.
Okay, but I think $1 would actually work out that it would cover, anything under $1, and then anything over $1, we may need to adjust some prices for faxes and stuff, but we'll just have to see once we get there. So we'll once I get everything figured out, I'll can give you guys a report and we'll see.
Those credit cards,
that's
some of
going.
them are charging 3%.
Yes.
Like if you go to certain restaurants. you
Right,
pay
yes.
cash, yeah.
Yes, they have a cash price. Well, yeah, and that's something that gas stations have done forever. The cash price versus the credit price, because the margins are so small, and so it's not much. And it's a few cents on the dollar. So it's not like it's going to seriously impact what we're doing. But what we'll do is, like, for the price of a book, you know, if they pay for a card and they're replacing a book, we would add, you know, the 2.6% or whatever on top of the book.
If you pay
So-
by card.
Yeah, and so we would probably end up doing that, and so yeah. Anyway, I'm just looking right now, so I don't know if or when we'll implement that, but that's something that I think we're just going to need to do here pretty soon, and it shouldn't be too big of a hassle. All right, so that's about all I know. I did, well, I think it's maybe under new business is, no, this is part of the director's report as well. I printed out for you guys the some results from the library survey, as far as statewide numbers and then numbers for our library. And you can look at those, and it's always kind of interesting to have a little bit of data on how we're doing and what things are looking like. So you can look at that. I think it's pretty similar to what it was last year.
Is there anything that kind of stood out to you, or?
Not really. No, the number of ebooks keeps going up. It's about, I think it's over a third of our circulation now. I assume in probably 3 or 4 years, it might be as much as half. And where that will come into play is that's going to seriously impact our purchasing power, just because it's so much more for those. Although a lot of our budget right now is going toward large print. And most of those patrons are not interested in an e-reader of any kind. Because there you could take any book and make the print as big as you want, but they're just not interested.
Technology and.
Yeah, they just won't do it. So it may be that more of our budget is shifting toward ebooks out of the and then, well, I guess a bigger percentage would be large print, and a smaller percentage probably large print nonfiction, and then the current fiction. Large print and nonfiction. We would still buy hard copies of, but more and more of the fiction probably will be going that direction. Although that has its own issues with, extremely long hold times. So I don't know. We'll figure that stuff out as we go, but that's sort of kind of what we're thinking about. If we need to do shifting. And of course, since the whole consortium pays into it, that lightens the load a little bit. Okay, so that's that. I think there's, yeah. Yeah, so I guess we have old business. We don't have any new business.
Sorry, I was distracted. I know. All right, I think we got there. All right. Okay, so are we on to unfinished business now?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, the collections reconsideration policy.
Yeah, so we had talked about this at the last meeting, and I only put in the part of the collection policy that we're changing, which is just on page 8 or page 26 of the packet. And this is just revising to take into account the new law that goes into effect in July, where if someone is challenging a book on obscene grounds, if they don't like the library board's decision about keeping the book, then they can appeal to the city council, and if they don't like that decision, they can take it to court. And so that's what we've changed in the policy. And I ran it by the city attorney, and he said, yeah, I don't have any issues with that. It looks fine. So, we're getting rid of the decision of the board is final and putting if the reconsideration is due to alleged obscene content, the complainant may appeal the Board of Trustees' decision to the governing body of the public library as defined in the statute to determine whether any matter or material is obscene. Any determination made by the governing body as to whether any matter or material is obscene is subject to judicial review in a court of competent jurisdiction, which is essentially the text out of the law. So, that's that. So any
Is where the board.
governing body would be the city council in this case,
Okay,
because they're the governing body of the library, or the city anyway.
So is this a second like, is this,
This would actually be the first
first,
reading.
okay.
You decided to table it until the attorney had looked at it.
so can I go ahead and move to approve?
You
the
could.
First
yeah,
reading?
I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve the first reading of the amendments to the collections policy.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or discussions for Dr. Harmon? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, the motion carries to approve the collection, first reading of the collection development policy for the Sturgis Public Library.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
So we do have a need to move into executive session,
Yes.
and then we can just adjourn after that, so we won't
Okay.
go back online after that.
Let us know when
So I will.
we're gonna go into executive session.